Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for my rational perspective on Hull City 1, Chelsea 2. Chelsea just getting through to the next round of the FA Cup. I was at the game very cold and got back very late from Hull last night, so that's why my video is a day late. But it was just about Chelsea scraping through, Chelsea finding new ways to increase my stress levels. It's a difficult watch at the moment, and they are just so uncertain. I wrote an article about it for the Chelsea Echo. Chelsea just so uncertain at the moment. You just don't know what Chelsea you're going to get. But then in some ways, it is becoming a little bit predictable. The unpredictability is becoming predictable. We know Chelsea are an uncertain team who can look dominant in games. But I have to say, I don't think Chelsea did look dominant yesterday. I don't think Chelsea ever had control of that game, which sounds weird being 2-0 up, having a lot of chances. When you look back at highlights, but watching the 90 minutes and just my reaction to it, of course, you get a different view when you're at the game compared to watching it on TV. But I felt just Chelsea never dealt with that game well enough. I think that against a mid-table championship club, Chelsea should be doing a lot better, and some of the fringe players who came in should have been performing a lot better. Of course, Frank's post-match interview about transfers and all that stuff, very candid, very honest, very open. I think he summed it up perfectly when he talked about this was Chelsea's season sort of in one game. You sort of saw the uncertainty, the fact that we can play nice football at times, but we can also be very nervy and let teams back into the game, not being clinical enough. But I do want to talk about some positives that I think need to be talked about. Mateo Kovacic, a wonderful pass out to Dave, and I think the best thing, not only that pass was wonderful from Kovacic, and I thought he had a really good first half, but I think the added element to that of Dave, when he got the ball, a quick ball into the box, not taking a touch there, and it really, teams struggle with that. There's nothing better than an early ball. Hull's defence wasn't set. The ball gets in. It's a nice switch of play from Cover, and a lovely first touch from Mount, and then eventually it finds Michy, who's clinical. And from there, because of our first chance going in, everything Frank had been demanding in terms of that clinical nature, you thought it was going to be a prosperous day for Chelsea, but it didn't turn into that. And I just felt watching that game, our passing got worse. It got more passive. Hull started to win the physical battle more. And I just felt Chelsea are just going to get deeper and deeper here. But I think, once again, trying to stay with the positives here, I do think one player really helped was Fikayo Tomori, who of course scored the second. I think it was typical that, and weird that, in some ways that both of Chelsea's goals came against a run of play. Hull started the game quite well. Chelsea's first chance we score. That second half, just watching that game, all the football being played down the other end, I just thought Chelsea I don't know what Chelsea were trying to do in that second half. And it just felt like Hull were going to increase their momentum. We're going to get further chances. And I think in similar ways to the Brighton game, I think we all knew and all felt that Chelsea were going to concede here and it could turn into a very ugly night. But Fikayo Tomori getting on the end of that ball in from Ross Barkley, wonderful to see Fikayo score, and it clearly meant the world to him. And I think Tomori, who's been out the team recently, I think out of all the players who got a chance in this game, I think Tomori did the best. I think he put himself out there to say to Frank, I can be in your starting 11 next week against Leicester. I like Tomori. I think he's been one of our best defenders this year. He's, in our best run this season, he was one of the main defenders. And it's weird how he's gone out of the team. I don't know what that is. I know he had some injury problems recently, but it doesn't seem to be the case because he looked fit and raring to go yesterday. Played the full game, looked okay. With Tomori, what I like about him is he's got not only that obvious goal element to him at a set piece, which is what we need from our defenders, but it's that mixture of being comfortable playing out from the back. He knows how to make the right pass, but also having that physical element to him. And whatever the back two is going forward, I think Tomori needs to be one of them. I thought he was wonderful. And I think it's great to see. And hopefully Frank sees that and he gets his chance to get back into the first team in the Premier League because I think he deserves it. Another player worth mentioning is Billy Gilmour. I thought he was brilliant when he came off the bench. He was exactly what Chelsea needed at that point in the game. Although the game didn't end that way in terms of it being comfortable, I think he added an element that no other midfielder was giving in that second half, which was a bit of control, confidence on the ball, and also assertive. There was a combative element to Gilmour, which I loved. He was winning defensive headers against players older and more physical than him, and it was brilliant to see. I think every time I've seen Gilmour in a Chelsea shirt this season, he's looked confident, he's looked classy on the ball, and he's the type of player you needed in midfield in a modern game. And as Lampard stated in his post-match interview, best player on the pitch when he was on it. And I think that's only going to do the world of good for him. What that means for Gilmour's future in a very stacked midfield, Whether he gets a loan move next year to further increase his development, I'm not sure. But he showed up the likes of Barkley, who just wasn't performing well. It was one of Ross's bad days. And I gave Ross a lot of credit recently. But I think it just showed the difference there. And I think it's what's going to really hinder Barkley ever becoming a regular at Chelsea. You just can't, rely on him in these difficult occasions when he's pressed and he needs to make good decisions. He's too erratic. Whilst Gilmour, as you expect from a young player, would be more erratic. No, he was controlled, and that's what I loved about Gilmour. So I thought Gilmour very much showed his best elements, and I think we'll get more minutes probably under Frank. But yeah, of course, I can take a deflected free kick, and it being 2-1, it can happen, but it's the element of not only not taking our chances in the first half to kill the game off, to put it beyond whole, but also just the fact the game was never in our control anyway. You can take it if, Chelsea, we forced the keeper into a few wonderful saves or something has gone against us. That's not the case. Chelsea just were never in control of that game for me, other than a brief spell after that second goal where we created more chances, but once again, couldn't put the chances away. Pedro had some brilliant opportunities. You expect better from Pedro. And Frank, stressed signings. Whether we're going to get those signings or not, we're going to have to wait and see. But that's it pretty much. It wasn't great for the heart rate, but, it was, a win, which is important. And we have that week's gap now between this and the Leicester game. Leicester is a massive game, and we move into the three or four biggest games of the season. I know you can include Bayern in that, but let's just talk about the league and get in top four. This is crunch time, not only for Chelsea, but for the teams around us as well. Leicester away, Manchester United at home, Tottenham at home. This is really going to define the rest of the season. If Chelsea can get out this next 3 games still in a confident position and with some good results, then it can look very bright. But as we know, it can look very much the opposite. So those are my thoughts on the win last night. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter @SonOfChelsea, and I'll see you again.